my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well. It is well. My soul. It is well.
Welcome to the biggest show on earth. Once again, you are watching the Voice of London television. My name is Nana Osagyeo, presiding over this great show. Once again, let me remind you that this show is will get a feed to our radio station, sister station, Voice of London Radio. You can also pick us on WJM, Wayne Johnson Television in the United States. You can also pick us on Fly TV and radio back in Ghana, and some sections of our show by TV3 as well. I've got my learned colleague. Before I introduce him, let me quickly remind you to like and, of course, share. Don't forget your comments, because I need to be reading your comments. Sometimes the contributions get a bit, should I say hectic or interesting rather? Yes, and sometimes we do skip the comments, but definitely we'll be bringing you the comments, reading the comments to the maximum. Okay, the subscription is very important so that you always get a notification, okay? And so make sure you do that so you don't miss out. This is the leading Pan-African voice representing the voiceless, and of course, the diasporans bringing, or shall I say, linking Africa to the diaspora and the diaspora to Africa. I would like to thank our great sponsors, that is Legacy Africa. And this is a new film, like I said yesterday. It's being premiered in Ghana this August, first week in August. It's being premiered. We'll bring you the details, the time, the red carpet, and everything. Once the Ghana premiere is done, will be also premiered in London, United Kingdom. In London at the Hackney Picture Center. Yes, actually it's Hackney Picture House. Yes, Hackney Picture House. We are looking at the landing dates, the 22nd, the 23rd, and the 24th, which is the long bank holiday weekend in London, United Kingdom. So make it a date and make sure you attend it. There's a young village boy from Ghana in the town of Intimpinti. Powerful name, I like that town. I'm sure my learned colleague, who I'll be welcoming very shortly, had traveled the whole of Ghana and probably come about that small village, Timpinti. I'm not so sure, but definitely interesting village that has brought a powerful product in the person of Dr. Pipra Jemfi, and that was his first film that he actually helped produced, and he's done very well. He also acted his part. Very interesting film. He went to Germany as a young boy after college in Ghana, had to struggle through the German exams, and was able to score one of the highest scores. So he was pushed through the medical school, qualified, helped many a million in Germany, and then shall I say, came back to London during the EU thing before United Kingdom or Britain came out of the EU. So Dr. Pipra Jemfi is now settled in the UK, in a town, not in London, but a town outside London, let's say Kumasi in Ghana. Yeah, the town is called Leicester. Leicester. So this is a film that showcases that something good can come from a small village, and it's interesting. Okay, let me thank one of our sponsors as well, in the person of the producers of Evelyn Hearts. Well done so much. Evelyn Hearts' debut album showcasing across all the networks. It is well. So if you are feeling down, the only music to listen to is Evelyn Hearts. Okay, great. So let's go and then welcome our learned colleague in the person of Stephen Apolima. Stephen, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Great.
Doing
I'm
well.
happy to have you. Before the rest start jumping on us, at least we can have an into discussion on some of the interesting stories, you know? Yeah.
Yeah,
So, how was your day, Steve?
yeah. My day went well. It went great. I hope yours did.
Well, mine was hectic, but uh, it comes with the, shall I say, the multi talent and the multi skill and the
Yeah,
multi facets of the industry, isn't it? Yes, yes. All in the name of the Pan African world, bringing the whole Pan Africanism to a consolidated mouthpiece right here on the Voice of London and the Pan African voice. Powerful.
you
Okay.
guys are doing.
Yeah, so Steve, let's look at some of the interesting issues. Yesterday we couldn't discuss the Kenufuriata issue. We also couldn't discuss the TV stations. And what I'd like to do is if we focus on just two, three stories, and then we can look at not just the issue, but the holistic solutions to such problems. For instance, we spoke about flood, you know, yesterday, and the solution is to get most of these African countries to try and have these drainage systems. What is stopping Africa developing these drainage systems? Is it the money? Is it the corruption that is stopping Africa? Or it's about time we start nationalizing this thing? So before we go look at the Kenufriata situation and the TV stations, let's revisit some of what we touched yesterday because I'm trying to see if we can help some of these governments who are very serious to tackle this issue because all those deaths could have been prevented unless there are some that are severe that cannot be. So, Stephen, the measures in terms of drainage systems.
Yeah, no, thank you. And my greetings to uh, your colleagues in the studio and those listening across the globe. With regards to the flooding, I'm looking at it from the angle of climate change. I'm not too sure where the flooding occurred, but uh, we all know that because of climate change, the weather pattern has changed. Because I'm also told that there were heavy snowstorms together with the flooding
Okay,
in some parts of South Africa.
right.
But it's very interesting when it comes to drainage. It's very interesting. It's not all parts of South Africa or let's say Ghana that have such problems with drainage. There are some parts that the drainage system are not good. Yes, it is now time that we take urban planning very serious
Mm.
and consider all these things. So yes, climate change may have an impact on the weather system and also urban planning. How we plan our cities is very, very important.
Yes, yes. It's a shame though. I think the planning, aside the climate change, if we look at the way we build or our people build back home in Ghana and the rest of Africa, the planning is done properly, but it's not implemented. And anybody at all can build anywhere. Look at the demolition that took place recently. Is that also not another worry that we or angle or factor we need to look at?
Yes, Nana, it's a worry because areas that are not earmarked for residential buildings
Right.
or let's say waterlogged areas,
Yeah.
clearly people are not supposed to build there. Where it happens, and I like the way Abuja was done. You can't build you can't put any structure in Abuja.
So
You
so
can't
make
just put any structure in Abuja that is not that is not accepted by the city planners. So
yes.
if we can take these city planning seriously,
Yes.
where people cannot just build anywhere,
Mm.
that will really also help the situation.
Right. Right. But that should be the case then, isn't it? I mean, Africa, why can't we implement same measures?
Yes, Nana, that is why I said if it is done in Abuja, Nigeria,
Right.
then it can be done in Ghana and elsewhere.
Right.
It's just that our politicians need to think more about the 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 people. I mean, the country as a whole, and
Right.
not only think about the next election.
Right. Right. That's interesting. Very interesting. Okay, we want to also welcome our observer joining us in the person of leadership, Evelyn Hart. Evelyn, welcome to the show. And we thank you for joining and for your moral support. So let's go quickly. I'm trying to find a solution to the flood, and as I've discussed, but my worry is that why can't we also have, Stephen? You see, let me bring the question of the African Union. Yesterday, we touched on the African Union. I know you have a diverse view from the others as well, which makes the conversation very interesting. So, my point is, why is the AU very silent when it comes to, sometimes voicing their or coming out with certain things so that people will realize that they are forced to reckon with?
Nana, as I said yesterday, the AU is constrained financially and also structurally. Just imagine you have an African Union that is financed by the European Union and the US. What kind of a voice will such an organization have? Because financially they are not independent. So if the AU can be able to generate its own financing, yes, and carry out its activities effectively, I don't think all these things will be happening. Look at the way EU has been structured. It is not the same with what the AU.
Yeah, so Steve, you play a major role when it comes to Ghana and African affairs, even including the diaspora. And as a seasoned author, should we just sit by and let them be toothless? Is that the case? Why
Nana,
couldn't, yeah, go on.
the, the truth of the matter is that whilst internally the AU faces these constraints, we also have to look at the external forces. We have to look at the external forces and the interest that these forces have in making the AU not becoming as strong like the EU. So whilst I will not say that I will not put the blame entirely on the AU as an organization, but rather blame our leaders who form the AU, because it is their decisions that would make the AU what it needs to become. So if we are not united, the AU as an organization that depends on the individual countries within Africa cannot function accordingly. We need to all come together or realize that it is now time that we need to look within. As we speak, most of the Arab-speaking countries within the AU some don't even recognize themselves as being part of Africa.
Mm. Okay, point taken, but it saddens some of us in the diaspora that Africa as a union, with a vast amount of wealth in terms of its resources and its human, resource as well. That we are about 1.6 billion plus. I'm not sure if that's the right figure. And I mean, it's just a mind-boggling thing that Africa cannot pull this one off. And look at how Ibrahim Traore is redefining Burkina Faso. Why can't Africans take the bull by the horn and move this thing forward? It's sad. They just sit there and I don't know. It saddens me a lot. But I'm sure some young leaders will come through and probably that change will come soon. Okay. Quickly, let's go and look at the Kenoforiata thing. Unless you want to touch on some of yesterday's things that you feel that you needed more time to touch on before we move to the Kenoforiata saga.
No, we can go ahead to discuss Ken.
Okay, so we know the OSP, Office of the Special Prosecution or Prosecutor, as actually got Kenoforiata to be put on the international Interpol list and all that. And then the Yoko have also on his case as well. What can you share with us to give us, those of us in the diaspora, more info into it? Yeah.
Yes, and with regards to Ken Oforiatta and the OSP, what I know is that there has been a series of communication between Ken's lawyers and the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
Right.
But the bare fact is that the Office of the Special Prosecutor does not believe that Ken Oforiatta is so ill that he cannot attend to the OSP. And that is more the reason why he was brought back onto the wanted list, and an Interpol red notice was issued.
Okay.
For me, I think they believe the Ken Oforiatta does not want to present himself, answer questions. And there was this interesting thing that happened on Joy news program where Kofi Benton, a lawyer, and I think the vice president of Imani or something,
yes,
made a bold statement that for him, if it were to be him, he wouldn't advise Ken Oforiatta to come to Ghana. Because he believes that.
But why is he saying that?
Yeah, he believes that being invited to the OSP is more like coming for him to be arrested. But he believes that the Kenoforiata, per the Constitution, is not obligated or mandated to assist the OSP to conduct its own investigation against him. He believes that if the OSP has enough to go to court, they can try him in absentia. So there is no need for Colonel Proyata to come and answer any questions that the OSP has for him.
That's an interesting point, and sometimes this is what democracy brings to the fore, isn't it?
Yeah.
And sometimes, if it was a military, go and tell them that. So I'm sure, there are some people who don't want to hear about the military, but I'm sure there are most people with what Ibrahim is doing who are falling in love with the military again, isn't it?
Yes.
I say. And so, but how do you see the Ken thing? Do you think that what the money guy, is it Bryce Simmons or something they call him?
Kofi Bento.
Oh, it's called Bento. Yeah, okay. So that Bento guy, um, what are they saying as against the Bento guy? Yeah.
Well, from the little that I know, it looks to me that Ken is not going to come anytime soon to Ghana just to answer questions.
Yeah.
For me, I sort of agree with Bento to an extent, because if, let's say, I held a public office and I am needed to answer questions in relation to corruption charges, I don't necessarily need to assist you, the prosecutor or the investigator, to gather evidence against me. If you think I have done something wrong, then you need to what? You need to file charges against me. As it stands, Ken Oforiatta has not been charged with anything. So he is just a suspect.
Right. So in this case, if he hasn't been charged, he needs to be charged before taken to court, though, isn't it?
Yes, but
and I thought a special prosecutor have powers, and then once he's charged, then they can then proceed to court, isn't it? Or
once he's charged, he can be tried in absentia. That is, if he refuses to come and answer the charges. But as it stands, he is now a suspect. He has not been charged with anything.
Yeah, but even if he's charged, he's still a suspect until tried in a competent jurisdiction. So it's a very interesting development in Ghana. So we wait and see. Now, Steve, let's go straight to the media landscape. We've got about 60 something TV and radio stations that have been licenses have been revoked and taken off by the new government. And stations in Ghana have become like some, it's become too many. And it seems there's no sanity. So an interesting way to try and sanitize it, but let me take your view first.
Yes, Nana, what I know is that when the NCA brought the list,
okay, Steve, let me welcome Lady Nana Ama Beautylicious. And then Big up Mansa Musa, who has just done a human job. Respect to Mansa Musa. Okay, so Nanama, aka Beautylicious, are you there? Nanama, can you hear us? Okay, once we are able to get Nanama, we'll continue. Steve, let's carry on. Steve, you've muted yourself. If you can hear me. Okay, Steve has.
I can
Okay,
hear
Steve,
you,
you are back. Okay. Okay, so we've got Nanama on, but we are not hearing it. So, Steve, let's carry on. Yeah.
Yes. So from what I know,
Yes.
there are 64 radio stations. As soon as the NCA came out with a list and the suspension of licenses, the president issued a statement that they should be reinstated. Their licenses should be reinstated whilst they work to renew their licenses.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not entirely the case that their licenses have been revoked.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That is what.
Okay. So, what is the situation then?
You see, most of these radio stations, or let's say media houses,
Yeah.
have not renewed their licenses. And
Okay.
that is a reason why the NCA took that decision. But
Okay.
the president, in his wisdom, felt that he cannot go the way his predecessor did by
Yeah.
stifling media voice.
Mm.
So he gave them time
Mm.
to work on renewing their licenses.
Okay. Now, you being more or less one of them in a way, since you're an author, you edit a lot of stuff. And what do you yourself, what do you make out of it?
Uh, the truth is that we have a lot of radio stations and TV stations in Ghana.
Right.
And most of these media houses, they, I mean, there should be sanity in the space.
Right.
And the only way that there will be sanity is that the regulator is allowed to do their job.
Right.
For me, the president coming in to direct an independent body to rescind on its decision, for me, didn't sound well to me. I felt that if the media houses
Yeah.
have not been able to renew their licenses, it is in the right direction for the authority, that's the NCA, to suspend their license until they do the right thing.
But why would the president jump in? Why? Is it because people are saying he's a calm guy, he's a good guy? Is that got to his head and just trying to make it seem as if he's media friendly? Is that why? Because I tend to side with you on this one. Because why is he intervening?
You know, the president himself is also a media guy.
Yeah, I know he's a he did communication at the university. Yeah.
And I think he feels that it's only right for the NCA to just give them enough time to get their act together. But just jumping in and getting the NCA to rescind their decision, that is the only aspect that I don't like. Because as an independent body, they should be able to function without the executive imposing on them.
Well, the president has got to be careful because now we don't want to start bashing him. You know, we thought it's too early. 5 months. It's not even 6 months into the job. He's got to be careful and start thinking about the country and continents and service to the people. Instead of trying to look at populist agenda and decisions, and he's got to be careful before we start bashing him on that. I think on this one he got it wrong, but that's an interesting one. Let's welcome Nanama. I think he's got a couple of headlines for us. Nana, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, please. Good evening.
Yeah, evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Okay, we've already, today we're just going to spend an hour and we've already gone almost past half the hour mark. And so if you can quickly give us some of the headlines, we'll be very grateful. What's happening?
Okay, so there is a whole lot more.
Hey,
Concerning the BEC, concerning the BEC candidate, according to research, nkwadaa no ọmụnyem paa ọmụbọ ejuma. Ukọ Upper Easter, you get to know.
Oh, we don't want this network issue again.
At a center 21 and lactating or nursing mothers. And I think when they were writing
yeah, go on and we
when they were writing
because of the network.
A 16-year-old girl delivers. She delivers in the center. And they have to Ghana for yanka say to akulani di akulani yenya ni mean by yaya mani di yes friend kweku computing.
I hope it's not. Hello, your network. Oh dear, Mother Ghana. Steve, you need to speak to the president for him to try and improve the.
And I say, can you hear me?
Nana, we lost you there. We lost you. So half of what you said.
Oh, message.
Your network.
BEC, Akulan.
Aha, go on. This is terrible.
BEC, Akran. Ashanti region, any Atemnisi, Ashanti region. If we baby is senior, yeah, I think I get the name correct. I want to say Atemnisi, yeah, or more exams name muna. Akulano, okay, say Obejon, so person call washroom. And a police ni baba kudi ne china. On say my many experiences, she got to know that there is something wrong. So more than call headmaster office or na oko deliver. Inti and also yeah other.
Okay, I think the network is playing up, but basically what she's trying to say is that students were taking their exams. One lady decided to visit the ladies. While she was being escorted, they realized she wasn't feeling too well, took her to the headmasters only to go and deliver a baby there. So these students and young girls needs to be
16-year-old girl, and then she delivers a baby boy. And I crown Ghana for Casa needing Kweku computing. It's no Yanyaba Ghana for Yanyaba Kweku computing. And I think about a young girl, yeah, where we, according to rumor, no, to say, and yeah, they are 21 in Powasha, they didn't papa, and July no benya 21 years, a yeah, baby. Did Yanka say Philip Afrimpong? Boy, ne papa about Kobino. Nidi akasampo ye Hayford about and papa about ebusuafo hyiae according to papa no on the enya de obeso ne ba ne so say ne ba nti ono ana awo no o say nyame mmra no e wo say mmra no ntimi adwuma pepepe nti se wo say ne ba no on dem forever kra on the of mmra no so.
Yes, we are still listening.
Can you hear me? Okay, so yes, I'm so called a half regional. Papa bi a wadi 40 years. A whole 40 years papa o. Enemre, o se one ne ma no, on beye baako. One ne ma no beye baako in the sense say he joined the BEC candidate to write. He left all the way from Tamale to Ahafo region to write with his the BEC candidate. Inti at age 40, this man still wants to continue his education, learn more and all that. And also another trending way ecosom.
I see.
Can you hear me?
Oh, you've got some more for us.
And next is the strike no makona ekum kwofo no. Ene mihu video bi a mami bi wahwe ne ma to intafo because na nurses ne any duty on betimi aboa ma nyoma ye hyew. Nti nyɛ sɛ baako pɛ na ɔhwere nkɔla mmienu no nyinaa she couldn't survive. Nti ma ansave nkɔla no mo nyinaa tumi wu because nurses weren't there to assist and all that.
Okay. Any more there?
Patrol deɛ ɛwɔ no no.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that's it, Papa Jamin Shabi. And that was the brief local news from the motherland, Ghana. And so that is coming from Nana Ama Butulations. Okay. Let me take a brief breakdown of the world news that I have from my World News X. We have Israel attacking Iran nuclear facilities, and Iran has responded to that attack. Iran retaliates with missile attacks on Israel as Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urges Iranians to stand up to the regime. So that's an interesting story there. Iran says there was damage to its Fordo and Isfahan nuclear sites in an earlier attack, as the Israeli Prime Minister vows that more is on the way. And so that's an interesting international story. We also have the story regarding the Indian plane crash. We have the black box has been found. So black box found at Air Indian crash site as families wait for answers. So good news, the black box has been found, which will give investigators a lot of answers to why the crash occurred. We have the United States. Of course, we know what's happening in terms of President Trump's having this immigration thing ongoing. And then we have the appeals court temporarily allows Trump to keep National Guard in Los Angeles. Interesting developments there. Let me, I think I'll quickly go and look at the African news. That's an interesting one. So coming from Africa, we have senior Kenyan policeman arrested over bloggers killing. Wow, this is a very serious one. And so we'll look at that story because it relates to we, the media people. So if a blogger has been killed by a policeman, are news people and media personnel safe? Interesting one there. And Nigeria, this is a good story. It's to do with Ken Saruwiwa. 30 years after its execution. So Nigeria pardons Ken Saro-Wiwa. Let me take this story because I know Steve Apollima is an author, so this will be of interest to him. Nigeria's president has pardoned the late activist Ken Saro-Wiwa 30 years after his execution sparked global outrage. Along with 8 other campaigners, Mr. Saro-Wiwa was convicted of murder, then hanged in 1995 by the then military regime. Many believe the activists were being punished for leading protests against the operations of oil multinationals, particularly Shell in Nigeria's Ogoniland. Shell has long denied any involvement in the executions. Though the pardons have been welcomed, some activists and relatives say they do not go far enough. All right, so this is an interesting story. Ken Saro-Wiwa was a giant of a protester and a prolific activist as well. He lost his life. It was a global thing, and a very, very interesting story there. Okay, so these are some of the interesting stories coming from Mother Africa. Let's go and then look at those stories, and then we can look at what Nanama also gave us. So, Steve, interesting stories. Overnight raid, Israel attacks Iran, Iran attacks Israel. Yesterday, I posed a question, Russia and Ukraine war going on, Middle East on fire. Are we heading towards a third world war? Your take, Steve.
Yes, Nana, thank you again. It's rather sad that Israel is extending its military operations everywhere. Israel is fighting Yemen, Israel is striking Syria, Israel is fighting Lebanese, Palestine, and now Iran. For me, it's very interesting because it is at the eve of the U.S.-Iranian deal, which is negotiation, which is on Sunday, that Israel decided to strike Iran. And interestingly, Israel would not attempt to do that without the say-so of the US. And it is very interesting if you read the response that Trump's reaction. If you don't mind, I would like to read it out loud.
Okay.
For your listeners to know what Trump said, so that I can connect it to what I think is going on. On X, this is what Trump said. I gave Iran chance after chance to make a deal. I told them in the strongest of words to just do it. But no matter how hard they tried, no matter how close they got, they just couldn't get it done. At the end of it, that is the most interesting thing that he said. At the end of it all, he said that they should just do it before it is too late. For me, this is what I think. I think that the US is using Israel as a proxy to put pressure on Iran to accept the US proposal that they have presented to the Iranians.
Okay, that's an interesting take there. You still believe that the Third World War can be avoided?
I believe that we have not gotten there yet.
Okay.
I believe that this Israel strike and Iran's retaliation is just a posturing. Trump is using Israel to strong arm Iran into accepting US proposal for a nuclear weapon for even for civilian purposes for Iran.
Right.
I don't think the situation is going to escalate, but it will all depend on the response that Israel is going to, the next step that Israel is going to take after Iran's retaliatory strike.
Mm. All right. Very, very interesting stuff. With me, I would say no comment. Interesting. All right, let's look at the story from another one more from the International News Desk, where we have the black box that has been found regarding the Air India crash sites. And so that is good news. I saw a story earlier on when a father who is a medical doctor and a wife too, a medical doctor, were all coming to London. The father had worked, I think, over 6 years, not London, but the UK, and now managed to secure the necessary documents and was bringing a wife and 3 children alongside, same flight, and they all perished. So sad. Good to have the black box, which will go a long way, help investigators find the root cause of and the reasons for the crash. You want to add something to it before we go straight to the Africa one?
Yes, Nana, I understand that the plane that went down is one of Boeing's one of the safest airplanes.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they've discovered the black box, and the world is waiting to get to understand what could have caused the plane to crash as it did. So we wait to see what comes up of it.
Okay, interesting. Okay, now we are looking at the African desk quickly, because I don't want us to go past that hour mark that I've set myself or ourselves. We have a blogger being killed in a police station cells. And this sometimes happens across Africa and Ghana as well. We've got so many stories. They apprehend somebody, take him to the cells, and the next thing you know is the person is dead. This has happened in Kenya. The head of the main police station in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, has been detained over the killing of a young blogger in police custody, independent investigators say. As well as officer commanding station, Samson Talam, another policeman, PC James Mukwan, plus a technician accused of disabling the station CCTV have all been arrested. And the blogger named Albert Ojwang's death sparked protests after doctors refuted a police claim he had died from self-inflicted injuries caused by hitting his head on a cell wall. Do you believe that? Stephen, I know you and I were in there.
Yes, we weren't there, but these are instances that are becoming too many in most of our police stations in Africa.
Yes.
It's good that those involved have been arrested.
Great.
And I'm praying that the law will take its course.
Great. Okay, so looking at the Nigerian story, Ken Saro-Wiwa, 30 years ago, executed as a protester challenging like the story says, the Shell and the multinational petroleum giants milking Nigerian oil. Protesters from the Ogoniland, Ken Saro-Wiwa and 8 others were killed by the military regime. And now the president of Nigeria, Tinubu, has now pardoned Ken Saro-Wiwa. And we hope the right thing will be done. So Steve, you yourself being an editor and an author, written so many books. Your take on Ken Saro-Wiwa?
It's refreshing that after his death, so many years, he has been pardoned. This is, I'll call an Pan-Africanist and an activist who spoke forcefully against the exploitation of these, these oil giants that exploit the resources of the people.
Yeah.
But leave them impoverished. So it is good news that he has been pardoned.
Thank you so much. And I also applaud that. Now let's focus on the motherland, Ghana. Stories that Nana Ama has brought us. Yes, we have a 21-year, we have a lady, I think it's 15 or 16. Nana Ama, how old is the girl who going to write exams, ended up giving birth at the head teacher's office?
According to the report I watched, she's 15, 16. 15, 16.
Oh my God.
Children of
so this boy that is called Kweku Confusion. Why did
computing?
Yeah, but why did they call him Kweku Confusion? I don't get it. Why? I don't know, my friend.
Kweku Confusion. Neba no. Neba no.
Yeah, but why that name?
It was Wednesday. It was Wednesday, and then they were writing computing.
Oh.
And he's a boy too, a bouncing baby boy. You know, one again of us. Yeah, it's in our Kweku computing.
Oh, so it's Kweku computing, not Kweku confusion.
No, computing.
Yeah, I've got it, Nana. All right, and then let me. So, Steve, this youngsters in Ghana. Let's look at the two stories. This Philippa girl called Ya Baby. We spoke about her yesterday. Boyfriend shot her with a gun. And this young, what's happening with the discipline and, respect? Are they all vanish in the society in Ghana?
I think this happens to be, this story, it sounds very similar to something that happened, I think, in Ashanti region or so. It's rather unfortunate that people are beginning to own arms and just using it anyhow. It's very, very unfortunate that thing happened, and that young lady lost her life. And to tie this to the story of the 60-year-old who delivered a bouncing baby, it's becoming once too many in Africa. Almost every BC time, we hear our young girls writing the exams with pregnancy, etc., etc. I think the parents really need to sit up, and also teachers. We are allowing our children to start eating apple too early. And they are getting belly aches, which is not good at all.
Yes, maybe Anyway, let me reserve my comment before I get into trouble. Now, this nurses strike and a woman losing two twins. That's sad. I'm sure there are similar stories across the country.
Rather unfortunate that
Yes.
the nurses decided to go on strike, which has resulted in the loss of lives.
Yes.
It's rather unfortunate, but
absolutely.
The good news is that they have returned back to their post and they are doing their jobs. I plead with the authorities to listen to the nurses, and if they can't provide all the demands they are making, at least some they should try and then what provide it, because these nurses are essential workers, and if they should decide to go on industrial action, it's going to cost human life.
Right. Okay, that's an interesting take. Okay, so let's round up. It's just a few minutes to hit the hour mark, and I promise we don't want to go over that. So, 40 years man going to take his exams with a young one. There's nothing wrong. What's your take on that, Steve?
I believe it is a bold step. You know, education doesn't end.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you are 60 years, 70 years.
Exactly.
If you decide to go to school,
Yes.
there's nothing wrong with it. It needs to be applauded.
Yes.
Yeah, those of us who feel like we are too old to go back to school, will
Yes.
take something from that. Yeah.
Yes. So, Nana, are you there, Nana?
Yes, please, I'm here.
So, how are the youth or the youngsters like yourself taking it, seeing a 40 years old man joining you to take the exams? Some, how do you people see?
I wish I wish I was part of his group. Like
Oh, okay, I get your
I
point.
wanna write BEC again and meet him one on one. I'll just ask him, Dada, why?
I see. Anyway, he's a brave man.
I would want to know why. Why he insists on
Yeah, but
continuing his education.
Steve just said that's very encouraging. There's nothing wrong with educating oneself.
Yeah, but I think that there is more to it, because for him at age 40, and I think he should be married with kids and all that. So I would
Hey,
want to know more.
why
How
should
is
he be
he
married?
coping?
And then yeah, onye dream the way I would dream. No, hey, Nana, yate unka yo yate why? All right, so Nanama, thank you so much for the news item. We thank you so much. But before we go, I'd like to once again remind each and everyone that the upcoming film, legacy film by the Ghanaian German doctor, now a British doctor, after coming to live in the United Kingdom. A village boy from the village of Intimpintim. Is it Pintimpim or Timpintim? This village will become very popular, Papa, after this film. So this film is being premiered in Ghana first week in August, and then it will be premiered in London, United Kingdom at the Hackney Picture Houses on the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of August. And that's a long bank holiday in the United Kingdom. So keep it a date. We'll continue to inform you regarding this film premiere. Okay, there will be a red carpet. And to those of you who join us in London for this film premiere, it will be fantastic. All right, and then we have the Benson Benson Apartments, that's located in Accra, Ghana. If you are looking to go to Ghana, or you are in Ghana, or you want to buy an apartment, a 2-bedroom, starting from £60,000, $60,000 upwards. There are 4 available now, going so fast. Call the studio line and we'll definitely link you up. The admin line you can reach is 07958 532009. I repeat, sometimes when you are listening to quality programs for information, education, enlightenment, and entertainment, some useful infos do come through. So always make sure you have a pen and paper so that sometimes you can just write or jot these things down. So the admin number is 07958 532009, and we'll just put you through from $60,000 upwards, yeah? 2 3-bedrooms apartments in the middle of Accra. Okay, and then we also, anytime you are feeling good, you want to listen to some good music and inspirational, wonderful, impactful gospel music. There's only one song trending at the moment, and that is It Is Well by Miss Minister Evelyn Hartz. That's a powerful tune. You need to get your copy. There will be a launch of Minister Evelyn Hart's debut album in Ghana come December. And so keep it. I will definitely give you. Make sure you go to your Spotify's and social media networks and then listen to the full album and enjoy it to the maximum. The album has got some massive various tracks on it as well. Okay, let me just say that if you are also looking to get medication, and you don't necessarily have a registered GP in the UK or London, we have one of the best pharmaceutical or chemist shops that is owned and operated by Ghanaians, okay? By Ghanaians, and it's called Goodwill Pharmacy. Goodwill Pharmacy, and that is in the North Greenwich area. Once again, call me on the admin telephone number 079 58532 and I'll definitely give you that link. So those of you or the migrants who are looking for any medication or top treatments, these pharmacists do a lot of things, and they will definitely help you out. All right, so thank you so much, my good viewers and audiences worldwide, the 4 corners of the global world. We thank you so much for being part of this Pan-African voice that is representing the voiceless and the marginalized. Voice of London TV and the feed to the radio. We thank you so much for this particular section. I want to thank Stephen Apoliman, the veteran author and, of course, oil and gas expert. Steve, don't forget, when the money is coming, basa basa, why?
Of course.
Because you need to take over from Talo Numune Adeu. Africans should start running their own oil industry. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
let me link it to the Ken Saro-Wiwa story. It's to do with the oil. They protested and he lost his life. And I know that this 21st century, things are not the same. And that's with what Ibrahim Traore is doing in Burkina Faso and what other African leaders are doing in Africa. Africa is taking, the whole continent, to a different level. And we wish you, Steve, good luck in your endeavor, and so that your future oil magnates business side can take over the whole African continent and even the world. Okay, so
Yeah,
thank you, Steve.
thank
We
you very much.
appreciate you for your selfless service, especially those of us in the diaspora, giving us, up to date of the back home news and stuff. And Beautylicious, Beautylina Nanama, we thank you so much, so much, so much. Your dedication, selflessness, and all the time you spend in the research to give us all the headlines and the tidbits is an interesting one indeed. And today, your stories regarding the Beth Kweku computer is a nice one. And then the 40 years, man, that's an interesting and an encouraging one as well. We want to finally also thank Lady Evelyn, your ladyship. Thank you so much for the moral support. And this is where we bring the whole show to a close. Once again, the name is Nana Osagyeo. And continue to like, share, comment, subscribe. The number one in the business.
Pressures of life come, and it says I'm in deep trouble.
Bye-bye.
I see